Ever feel like just one experience totally reshaped you? Like not just a fun vacation or something, but something that shifted your values, your goals, like your whole sense of self?
Hmm.
We're diving into ethodical events today, and you might be surprised by how often these things happen, but we just don't really have a name for them.
It is fascinating. We talk about these big life events all the time, but we rarely, I think, actually dive into how they change us deep down. Like, it's not just the event, right? It's how these events actually mold our character and how we view the world.
So let's get this straight. What is an ethodical event?
It's basically a significant life-altering experience that kind of reshapes your personal ethos,
Hmm.
right? So it's a turning point, could be a crisis, a triumph, even falling in love. It leaves you fundamentally different.
Okay. So we're talking about those moments that just shake things up and
Yeah.
really make us kind of reevaluate who we are, right?
Yeah.
But before we go any further, I think we need to unpack this word ethodical. It's not exactly, everyday language.
Yeah, you're right. It's not. It comes from ethos, which is all about character, credibility, and how we kind of project ourselves to the world. It's how we persuade others, whether we're talking about just individuals or even like institutions.
So it's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Yeah,
It's like when a company's known for its ethical practices. That's part of their ethos, right?
exactly. And what's really interesting is that our source material
Hmm.
argues that genuine character, true ethos, is actually more important for long-term success and happiness than any kind of external achievements.
Whoa, that's a powerful thought. Are you saying like who we are matters more than what we accomplish? I mean, it makes you think about all those people who chase success but maybe cut corners ethically along the way.
Right. Think of it this way. You could reach every goal you set, but if you lack integrity or compassion, will you really feel fulfilled? Someone with a strong character, even when facing setbacks, can find meaning and purpose in their journey.
So character really is key. And these ethodical events, by challenging our beliefs and experiences, have the power to transform that character. I guess that transformation could be for better or worse, though.
Absolutely, yeah. They force us to confront our values, reassess our priorities, and ultimately, reshape who we are at our core.
So let's dive into like what these events actually look like. The source material highlights 7 key characteristics, and I have to say, some of these examples are pretty intense.
Yeah, they are. They're really powerful. Let's start with transformational impact. This basically means the event has to profoundly change a person's sense of self, their identity, or even their whole worldview.
Huh.
So it's a fundamental shift, not like a minor tweak.
Okay, so it's not just a change in routine.
Right.
It's something that really shakes the foundation of who we are.
Right.
What kind of experience could create that kind of shift?
Imagine working toward a goal for years. It could be running a marathon, writing a book, even starting a business, and then finally achieving it. That sense of triumph, of actually seeing your vision become reality, that could be an ethodical event.
That makes sense. Achieving a lifelong dream like that probably pushes you to grow and discover new things about yourself along the way. But what about those experiences that are less about triumph and more about confronting difficult emotions?
That's where emotional intensity comes in. This is the second characteristic. Ethodical events, they often involve these really intense emotions. Could be positive or negative, but it's that intensity, the joy, the grief, the fear that makes them so impactful.
Yeah, it's almost like those strong emotions, they kind of sear the experience into our memory and force us to pay attention. They're the kind of moments that stick with you? Whether it's surviving a disaster, witnessing something really profound, or even just falling deeply in love, these experiences, they change how you feel about everything.
You've hit on something really important there. We often try to avoid these intense emotions, right? But these events kind of pull us out of our comfort zones, and they force us to confront something bigger than ourselves.
That confrontation can be tough, even painful. But I can see how it could also lead to, growth and change. It makes me wonder if this ties into psychological concepts like resilience, our ability to bounce back from adversity.
Oh, it's a great connection. These experiences can really push us to develop those inner strengths. And speaking of change, the third characteristic is identity shift. Ethodical events, they often make us reevaluate who we are, what we believe in, and what our purpose is. It's like they hold up this mirror and they make us ask, who am I now after this experience?
That can be exciting and scary at the same time. It makes me think of those stories about people who go through incredibly tough experiences like war. It's easy to see how something like that could force them to re-examine their values and beliefs.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be a negative event either. Imagine a profound spiritual experience, something that completely changes your understanding of the universe and your place in it. That could lead to a major identity shift as well.
So whether it's positive or negative, these events have the power to reshape how we see ourselves and the world around us. What happens after that initial shift, though? Do the effects just fade away over time?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
That's where the fourth characteristic comes in. Long-lasting effects. These events don't just disappear. They continue to shape our thoughts, our decisions, and actions long after they've happened. Think of it as like a ripple effect.
It's like the event creates a ripple that keeps expanding outward. It influences our relationships, career choices, even our overall well-being.
That's exactly it. And these ripples often lead to the fifth characteristic, catalytic nature. Ethodical events can really spark growth, increasing our resilience, wisdom, or even just giving us a new sense of direction.
So even the negative events can be a source of positive change. It's like the saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but applied to our personal growth.
Right, but it's more than just strength. These events can also kind of awaken our creativity, leading to new innovations and solutions. This is where things start to get really interesting.
Okay, I'm ready to hear more about this connection between ethodical events and creativity. But before we jump into that, can you quickly explain the last two characteristics mentioned in the source material? I think they'll help us understand how these events kind of push us to take action and make meaningful change.
Absolutely. So the sixth characteristic is, it's described as meaningful path. But simply put, it highlights how the event can act as a catalyst for us to pursue something truly meaningful and stay committed to that path. It's about aligning our actions with our newly defined values and sense of purpose.
That makes sense. It's not just about change for the sake of change. It's about using that change to move in a direction that feels authentic and fulfilling. What about the seventh characteristic?
The final one is, it's described as logoteleological.
Hmm.
But put simply, it means the event should kind of inspire us to set our sights on a vision for the future and take concrete steps to achieve it. It's about having a clear goal in mind and putting in the work to make that goal a reality.
So it's not enough to just have the transformative experience. We have to use it as fuel to propel us forward, to create something meaningful and lasting. This is all incredibly fascinating, and I can already see how these ideas can be applied in our own lives.
Yeah, it is fascinating. And we've only just scratched the surface. The next part of our deep dive, we'll explore how psychologists are actually using this concept to help people understand and navigate these transformative experiences.
Stay tuned because I have a feeling things are about to get even more interesting. Welcome back. We've been unpacking these ethodical events, those moments that can completely reshape our outlook and character. And I'm really curious to explore how this concept's being used in psychology. It seems like it could be a powerful tool for therapists.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Psychologists are increasingly recognizing the impact of these events on their clients' well-being. And one way they're using this concept is through in-depth case studies.
So they're looking at real-life examples of people who've gone through these significant experiences. I imagine those stories can reveal a lot about how these events work and how they affect people, differently.
Exactly. By examining those individual journeys, therapists can gain valuable insights into, the unique ways these events shape thoughts, behaviors, and overall mental health. It's like piecing together this puzzle to understand the complex interplay of experience and personal transformation.
And are they just studying these cases? Or are they developing actual techniques to help people navigate these experiences in a healthy way?
Oh, they're definitely developing practical applications. For instance, therapists might use narrative therapy to help someone who's experienced a major loss. And it's about helping them reframe their story, find meaning in their grief, and create a new narrative that incorporates the loss without being defined by it.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not about erasing the past, but finding a way to move forward while acknowledging the impact of, what's happened. Do you think this focus on ethodical events is changing how therapists are trained?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm.
More and more educational programs are incorporating this concept into their curriculum, giving future therapists the tools they need to understand and address these complex situations. It's becoming an essential part of their toolkit.
It seems responsible, I guess, to equip therapists with that knowledge. You wouldn't want to go into such a sensitive and potentially volatile situation without the right preparation. But shifting gears a bit, the source material also suggests that understanding ethodical events can be valuable for prevention. That really caught my attention. Are you saying we can somehow anticipate or even stop these major life events from happening?
Well, it's not always about preventing the event itself,
Mhm.
but rather taking this proactive approach to how we prepare for and respond to potential turning points. And the source material outlines several strategies for doing just that.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What are some of those strategies?
One strategy is proactive identification. It's about recognizing the early signs of potential ethodical events, even those that seem positive at first. Think of transitions like graduating college, starting a new job, or even moving to a new city.
Those are exciting milestones for sure, but they can also be incredibly stressful and disorienting. Recognizing them as potential ethodical events could help people brace themselves, I guess, for the emotional and psychological impact.
Exactly. The source material, it provides this great example of proactive identification. It talks about a guy named Harry who makes a conscious decision to take an Uber home after having a few drinks with friends. He understands that driving under the influence could lead to a life-altering accident.
That's a smart move. But how does that connect to ethodical events?
Well, by recognizing the potential for a serious, even tragic event, Harry is anticipating a possible ethodical event, and he's choosing to avoid it. It's about taking those proactive steps to protect yourself and prevent a negative outcome.
It's like he's assessing the risks and making a choice that aligns with his values and long-term goals. Instead of just, hoping for the best, he's actively shaping his future. What other strategies are there?
Another important strategy is facilitating positive, transformative experiences. Instead of waiting for life to throw us a curveball, we can actually seek out activities that challenge us, inspire us, and have the potential to become those positive, ethodical events.
So proactively seeking growth experiences, what kind of activities are we talking about?
The source material mentions a whole range of possibilities, from leadership retreats and community service projects to even visiting historical sites that kind of expose us to the realities of human suffering and resilience.
Interesting that these examples cover both personal growth and engaging with the world around us. It's like expanding our horizons and pushing ourselves outside our comfort zones can lead to those positive, transformative moments, the moments that, shape our character.
Absolutely. It's about actively seeking those experiences that can enrich our lives and shape us for the better.
What about the role of reflection? It seems like processing these experiences and making sense of them is crucial too.
Oh, you're spot on. The third strategy focuses on reflection and meaning making. And it's about encouraging people to reflect on their experiences, both positive and negative, and extract these valuable lessons from them.
So it's not just about having the experience. It's about really digging into it and figuring out what it means for us. I can see how tools like journaling and mindfulness would be really helpful for that.
Exactly. Journaling allows us to process our thoughts and emotions, while mindfulness kind of helps us stay present and observe those experiences without judgment. And these practices can really turn those events, big or small, into opportunities for growth and learning. What stands out to you so far?
I'm really struck by the idea that we can actually be proactive in shaping these, potentially life-altering experiences. It's empowering to think that we don't just have to passively react to whatever life throws at us.
Right.
We can prepare for these moments, seek out positive ones, and learn from all of them. It's like taking control of our own personal narratives. But what about support systems? Do they play a role in all of this?
They absolutely do. Having that strong network of support is essential for navigating these transformative moments. And the fourth strategy really emphasizes building preventative support systems. This is about creating environments where individuals can access supportive relationships and resources to help them through those pivotal moments.
So things like mentorship programs, community groups, and even just having that strong circle of friends and family who can offer guidance and support.
Exactly. Sometimes just having someone to talk to who, understands what you're going through can make all the difference. It's about fostering that sense of connection and belonging, which can be incredibly powerful during times of change and uncertainty.
This is all so valuable. I'm curious to hear about the remaining strategies.
Sure. So the fifth strategy is individual proactive anticipation. This is about teaching people to anticipate potential challenges and develop problem-solving skills to kind of effectively navigate those difficult situations.
So it's about thinking ahead and developing strategies for dealing with challenges before they arise. It's like that old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, but applied to, our personal growth.
Precisely. It's about empowering individuals to take control of their lives and make those conscious decisions that align with their values. The source material offers this excellent example of this. It talks about a couple, Sally and Dave, who regularly sit down with their children to discuss different challenging scenarios they might encounter.
That sounds like a really proactive parenting approach. What kind of situations do they discuss?
Well, they cover a range of topics relevant to their kids' lives, from dealing with peer pressure and navigating social media to even discussing the risks of experimenting with drugs and alcohol. They help their kids anticipate those potential challenges, think through the consequences of their actions, and develop strategies for making healthy choices.
It's like they're giving their kids a mental toolbox for dealing with those tricky situations that inevitably come up in life, right? That's such a powerful way to equip them with the skills and the confidence to navigate those challenges. What about the next strategy?
The sixth strategy is education and awareness. This involves raising awareness about ethodical events, both the positive and negative, and their potential for transformation.
So it's about educating people about these events
Yeah.
and equipping them with the knowledge and the tools to recognize and navigate them effectively.
Exactly. The source suggests incorporating this concept into personal development courses and workshops. By understanding these events, people can gain a greater sense of agency, and make more intentional choices.
That's a brilliant idea. Integrating this concept into personal development could be a game changer. What about the final strategy?
Okay, so the seventh and final strategy focuses on resilience training. This is about equipping individuals with the tools and techniques they need to handle life's challenges effectively, bounce back from adversity, and even thrive in the face of those difficult experiences.
So it's about building those inner resources that help us cope with stress, manage those difficult emotions, and problem solve effectively. Are there specific programs or techniques that focus on resilience?
Oh, there are many fantastic programs out there that teach valuable coping strategies, stress management techniques, and problem-solving skills. By developing these skills, individuals can kind of navigate challenges with greater confidence and emerge from difficult experiences even stronger.
This whole conversation about proactive strategies has been incredibly insightful. It's clear that we have more control over these, potentially life-changing moments than we might think. We can prepare for them, learn from them, and even use them to fuel our personal growth. But before we move on, I think it's important to remember that ethodical events aren't just about overcoming challenges or preventing these negative outcomes. They can also be incredible catalysts for creativity and innovation.
That's a fantastic point. In fact, some of the most groundbreaking ideas and innovations have emerged from those very moments of disruption and change. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore this fascinating connection between ethodical events and creative breakthroughs.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring these fascinating ethodical events, those life-altering experiences that can completely reshape who we are. We've talked about their characteristics, their psychological impact, and even how we can kind of use this understanding to proactively navigate those moments and foster growth.
Right.
But now, for the grand finale, I'm really excited to delve into this connection between ethodical events and creativity.
It might seem counterintuitive, but those periods of upheaval, those times when our world is just turned upside down, they can actually be breeding grounds for some incredible creative breakthroughs.
That's so interesting. Are you saying that when we're forced to confront challenges, rethink our beliefs, and adapt to new circumstances, it can actually ignite our creative spark?
Absolutely. Think about it. When things are going smoothly, we tend to stay in our comfort zones, right?
Right.
We rely on familiar routines, stick to what we know. But when we're thrown off balance, when those old ways of thinking and doing no longer work, we're forced to think outside the box. We have to come up with new solutions and approaches.
It's like those moments of disruption create a fertile ground for innovation. We have to get creative, we have to adapt. And in that process, we might stumble upon something truly groundbreaking.
Precisely. And our source material outlines 6 specific ways to foster creativity through ethodical events. The first one is reflective practices.
So things like journaling, mindfulness, meditation, those practices that help us look inward, process our experiences, and gain deeper self-awareness.
Exactly. By taking the time to reflect on our ethodical events, to really examine how they've impacted us and what we've learned from them, we can gain those valuable insights that can spark new ideas.
It's like those moments of quiet contemplation allow us to connect the dots, to see those patterns we might have missed before, and to generate those entirely new perspectives.
The second way to foster creativity is through mentorship and support networks. Surrounding ourselves with people who challenge us, support us, and inspire us can make all the difference.
It's like having a brainstorming partner, someone to bounce ideas off of, someone to offer encouragement, and someone to help us see things from a different angle.
The third way is through workshops and retreats. These structured environments can provide the time, the space, and the resources for individuals to explore their ethodical experiences and channel them into creative projects.
I can see how that would be helpful, having that dedicated time and space to focus on creative exploration, away from the distractions of, daily life. It could really allow those innovative ideas to flow.
The fourth way is through experiential learning, engaging in activities that actually simulate ethodical events. Things like disaster simulations or role-playing exercises.
Oh, okay.
These can help participants think creatively and develop innovative approaches to real-world challenges.
So it's about putting ourselves in situations that require us to think on our feet, to come up with solutions under pressure,
Yeah.
and to adapt to unexpected circumstances.
Exactly. The fifth way is through creative expression, encouraging people to express themselves through art, writing, music, or other creative outlets. This can help them process their ethodical experiences and kind of translate them into innovative works.
It's like those creative acts become a way to make sense of the chaos, to find beauty in the brokenness, and to channel those intense emotions into something meaningful and new.
And finally, the sixth way to foster creativity is through innovation labs. These labs provide the resources and support for individuals to experiment with new ideas, collaborate with others, and turn those creative sparks into, tangible innovations.
It's about creating a safe space for experimentation, where failure is seen as a learning opportunity, and the focus is on generating new possibilities.
Yeah. The source material highlights a fantastic real-world example of this, the story of Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
During the 2008 financial crisis, the co-founders, Joe Gebbia and Brian Chesky, they were struggling financially. Desperate to make ends meet, they decided to rent out air mattresses in their apartment to attendees of a design conference.
Wait, so the multi-billion-dollar company Airbnb started because two guys needed to pay their rent. That's incredible.
It is, isn't it? That experience of financial hardship, that ethodical event, sparked an idea that would revolutionize the hospitality industry. They turned a crisis into an opportunity, and in the process, they created something truly innovative.
That's such an inspiring example of how these ethodical events, even the negative ones, can be catalysts for positive change and remarkable innovation. But before we wrap up, I think it's important to address what ethodical events are not.
That's an important distinction. Ethodical events are not just distractions or attempts to counter those negative feelings.
So it's not about escaping reality or trying to, numb ourselves to those difficult emotions.
Exactly. It's about genuine transformation, not just a temporary mood boost. It's about making decisions that reveal our authentic selves and our potential.
So after this deep dive into ethodical events, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the most important thing to remember is that these big life-changing experiences, they aren't just things that happen to us, right?
Right.
We can actually use this concept of an ethodical event
Mm.
to understand ourselves better, make more intentional choices, and even unlock new levels of creativity.
It's about recognizing those pivotal moments and understanding their power to shape who we are, and even using them as springboards for growth and positive change.
You got it. The next time you're facing a challenge or even just feeling stuck, ask yourself, could this be an opportunity for an ethodical event? What can I learn from this? How might this shape me for the better? Sometimes the toughest experiences are the ones that lead to the most profound growth.
And remember, we'd love to hear about your ethodical events. Share your stories on social media using the hashtag #ethodicalmoments.
Until next time, keep diving deep and embrace the transformative power of ethodical events.